We are Smooth Jazz Notes here on Catalina Island at the 24th Jazztrax Festival with Cindy Bradley. Cindy, when you were 12, you started playing with a Buffalo, New York area jazz band called Sugar and Jazz. Please tell us about this.
Wow. Sugar and Jazz was a community-run group, and it was like a 1940s style swing band, a big band that was all kids. So they had children from age 12 to 16, and it was run by just a gentleman named Frank Lorengo who loved that type of music. And it was outside of school, so we would rehearse every Sunday night and actually play gigs like Friday and Saturday nights, late. Like I would play till 1 or 2 in the morning on Saturday night when I was 12, and that was really my first exposure to jazz music or big band music or anything like that. So that's kind of what got me started with loving jazz and the trumpet and things like that.
And how did you get involved with this organization?
Well, I actually started playing the trumpet in 4th grade in the school band program, and then my father took me to the mall when I was 12, and this band was playing. And he knew that, and he wanted me to see them because he was hoping I would want to kind of get involved. And I remember actually being on the top floor of the mall looking down, watching this big band of all kids playing jazz music, and he was saying, what do you think about being in something like that? And I don't remember thinking very much, like, yeah, it's fine, typical 12-year-old. And so he went and we talked to the director, and he told him I was playing the trumpet in school and signed me up. So it was kind of more my father's encouragement than really me knowing that that's what I wanted to do at that point, because I was pretty young.
Well, did you know then that music was your calling?
Shortly after that. I think when I really joined that group and I started playing that type of music, I really fell in love with the trumpet specifically. So yeah, shortly, 12, 13, 14 years old, something like that.
And you went on to get a degree in music.
Yeah, I went to Ithaca College, and I got a degree in jazz studies, they call it. And then I went for a master's degree at New England Conservatory in Boston. That was a master's in jazz performance. So I have two degrees in jazz, and then I did a teaching degree too for my undergrad. So, yeah.
And did you begin teaching directly out of college?
I did. Basically, my dream was to get my master's degree and study at the best jazz school I could go to, and then move to New York City and play in New York with the best players I could find and just try to keep getting better and better. But in order to afford to live in New York, I needed a job. So I had a teaching degree. So I moved to New York City and I started teaching elementary school band, and then playing in Manhattan at night, teaching by day. So that was my plan. That's what I did. That's what I'm still doing, really.
You're Miss Bradley.
I'm Miss Bradley, Monday through Friday. Yeah. And it still sounds funny to me sometimes, but.
So your career is really taking off now. Will you quit teaching to devote more time to your career?
I don't know. That's the big question right now. I'm not sure. If it's getting to the point where they're conflicting a lot. Like I have to leave school to play and do shows, and I love doing both, so I don't know. Time will tell with that one. It would depend how much busier I get. But right now I'm still doing both, managing it.
Do you think you'll move to Los Angeles, the center of the music industry?
I don't know. I wanted to move to California. Last year I made a big effort to try to move, and then I had a really hard time leaving my family, who are all on the East Coast, and they're in Buffalo area, and I'm near New York, so we're about an hour plane flight or 7-hour drive. But a lot of things happened within my family that kind of kept me on the East Coast. But in the future, I'd like to, but the situation would have to be right. I do think about it a lot, so you never know.
Well, so let's talk about your family. You brought them up. Your parents live in Buffalo, and they've been very supportive of you. They're here at the Jazztrax tonight.
My mom and dad were actually here last year, and that was the first time they've heard me really play my own show in years. Like they saw me play once or twice in Buffalo, because I moved away when I was 18. So they haven't really heard me do this type of thing until last year at Catalina, and then it was exciting to actually have them come and see what I've been doing, and they've put up with a lot with me growing up, and just all I wanted to do was this. Like every decision I made was about playing the trumpet more. So yeah, and they came back again this year, so it was really, really cool.
And do you have any siblings?
I have an older brother, my brother Jerry is in Phoenix, and he's actually a lawyer in the Phoenix area. So.
And we know you have a dog.
My dog. I have I have a Chinese Shar Pei. His name is Maceo. I named him after Maceo Parker, and he's like this wrinkled, drooling, big thing that I'm just in love with. So yeah, he's home right now, probably destroying my house while I'm here.
So do you think it was harder breaking into the industry being a woman?
Wow, that's a good question, because I think being a woman that plays the trumpet, it's worked for me, obviously, and it's worked against me too, in different points in my life. Like, being a woman, just breaking into anything, if there's less of us, you have to prove yourself a lot more, and it's a lot harder. But also, it's also, you know, looked at as sort of a novelty, because there's not a lot of women that do it. So it has helped me. I think at this kind of level where I've been lucky enough to, you know, have a record deal and start doing these things, which I worked hard at getting for a lot of years, but I think it's working for me at this point. But it was definitely a struggle for a period of time, so depends on the situation.
Well, you write music. Do you write using the trumpet?
Not usually. My first instrument was the piano. I started playing piano when I was 5 or 6, just taking piano lessons, and I can play piano well enough to play chords and write. So I usually play the piano so I can hear the chords and you know, more of what will be going on in the song. But I play a little bass, and so I'm not usually playing the trumpet, but sometimes if I'm recording, but it's usually piano.
Well, you play both the trumpet and the flugelhorn. How do you decide which one to play on a song?
The flugelhorn is a mellower, pretty type of sound, whereas the trumpet can be a lot brighter. So a lot of times with like these recent projects, I work with a producer, with Mike Broning in Phoenix, and we would write together. So a lot of times it would be, you know, between the two of us, like, which do you think sounds better? And we would try it in the studio, and then whatever came out in the studio would be what you see me do live now, you know, just with the type of sound we liked or something. But I tend to gravitate a lot more towards the flugelhorn in the studio, because the prettiness of the sound, I just really love it. But live, I tend to play more trumpet. It's funny.